On 3rd October 2023, Sikkim has witnessed a devastating glacial lake outburst flood after the South Lhonak Lake ruptured following continuous rainfall. This caused the rise of water levels in the Teesta River that flooded at least 4 districts in the state. With the rising global temperatures, glaciers in Himalayas have been melting rapidly, giving rise to many glacial lakes and expanding the already existing ones in the region. This results in increased instances of glacial lake outburst flood in Himalayas. Do you know, as per a study published by Nature Communications in February 2023, 30 lakh Indians live in areas where a glacial lake outburst flood can happen at any time. Given that glacial lake outburst floods have become a pressing concern in the Himalayan states and are currently a subject of much discussion in our country, it is likely that UPSC will include a question on this phenomenon in the upcoming prelims. UPSC framed similar kind of questions in the past. For example, in 2018, they asked a question on the consequences of sand mining. And in 2017, they asked a question on Indian Ocean dipole. So for better understanding of the topic, that is the glacial lake outburst floods, we will categorize this video into 3 categories or 3 sections. First, we will learn what are moraines and moraine dammed lakes. Second, we will discuss what is glacial lake outburst floods and how they are formed. Third, we will learn about the causes of such floods. So let's move on to the first section. In simple terms, moraines are like the piles of dirt and the rocks that you see left behind after a bulldozer has gone through an area. But instead of a bulldozer, the machine doing the work here is the glacier. You know that glaciers are huge masses of ice that move very slowly over the land, and as they move, they push and grind up the earth and the rocks beneath and around them. When a glacier moves, it's like a giant conveyor belt, carrying all this material along with it. When the glacier stops movement and starts to melt, the glacier drops all of the stuff it has been carried. This dropped material, which ranges from the tiny bits of dirt to big boulders, is what we call a moraine. Sometimes these moraines pile up and forms dam-like structure. The water that melts from the glacier starts to fill up the space behind this dam. This can create a lake which is called a moraine dammed lake. Moraine dammed lakes are one type of glacial lake. There is another type which is known as the ice dammed lake. Ice dammed lakes form when a part of glacier itself blocks the flow of water, creating a dam made of ice. So in moraine dammed lake, the dam is made of moraines, and in ice dammed lake, the dam is made of ice. Now we will move on to the second section. That is, what are glacial lake outburst flood and how they are formed. When volume of water in such moraine or ice dammed glacial lakes grows and the pressure on the dam increases, as a result, the dam's stability is compromised and then the dam fails. This results in the glacial lake outburst flood. We can see numerous moraine dammed as well as ice dammed glacial lakes in Himalayas, and hence the region witnessed many glacial lake floods. The Chamoli floods of Uttarakhand in 2021 and the recent Sikkim floods in 2023 are examples of these glacial lake floods. The third section, we are going to discuss about the causes of glacial lake floods. Climate change, avalanches, seismic activity, volcanic activity, heavy rainfall, glacial calving, moraine instability and human activities are the causes that we have identified. So let's go into all of these factors. First, you know that the global temperatures are on rise and it is causing glaciers in the Himalayas to melt. The more glacial melt means more formation and expansion of the glacial lakes. Now more glacial lake means more chances of the glacial floods. Secondly, large avalanches can fall into the glacial lakes, displacing water and causing it to breach the natural dam, which will lead to glacial floods. Thirdly, you might have learned while studying geography that the Himalayas are seismically active. All of the Himalayan region in India are located in Zone 4 and Zone 5 of the seismic zonation map. That is, these are the areas of severe intensity earthquake. You must note that the earthquakes can trigger glacial floods by fracturing the ice dams. Fourth, the volcanic activity. Though less common in the Himalayas, volcanic activity can also contribute to the glacial floods by rapidly melting glacier ice with pyroclastic flows or lahars, leading to sudden floods. Fifth, heavy rainfall. This point is self-explanatory. You know that when there is intense rainfall, it can rapidly increase the water level in the glacial lake, putting pressure on its dam. This can lead to an overtopping of the lake and eventually cause the dam to fail. Sixth, glacial calving. Now you don't have to be afraid of hearing this fancy term. Glacial calving in simpler terms is nothing but pieces of glaciers breaking off into the lake. And this can cause a sudden rise in water levels, and this could potentially lead to the failure of the lake dam. Next point is moraine instability. I've already mentioned that the dams of glacial lakes are often made of loose moraines or rock debris. They are inherently unstable, and any additional stress or gradual weakening can lead to sudden failure and release of water. So last but not least, let's discuss about the contribution of human activity. Now, human activity is an important cause of rising glacial lake flood events in Himalayas. You may be aware that rapid urbanization and associated infrastructure development is happening across the Himalayan states. Worse, the absence of an urban land use policy has pushed urbanization from the geologically more stable mid-slopes and ridges to environmentally sensitive higher elevations. Unfortunately, this whole process of urbanization is unplanned, unregulated, and unsystematic. For example, more than 60% of the built-up area in the towns of Uttarakhand is in environmentally unsafe zones. This unsystematic construction of roads and hydropower projects is altering the natural drainage patterns of glacial lakes, and this is increasing the vulnerability to glacial lake floods. So with this, we are concluding this video. But to comprehensively cover this topic, you need to study some other dimensions too. To help you with that, we have prepared a Yoda study packet on this topic covering aspects such as the impact of glacial lake floods, NDMA guidelines on this, the best practices, etc. Apart from these points that we have discussed in the video, we will be covering the topic comprehensively in our study packet. To download the study packet, the link is given in the description of this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube and Telegram channel so you don't miss out any such Yoda study packets. So friends, see you in the next video. Take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.